Hey everybody, it's Warboss Fits down in the basement, and today we are going to be painting my rumblebee unit commander. I had to cheat because I kept forgetting where the stripes were on a bumblebee, and since I used my phone to record, I couldn't pull up the reference picture. So the only thing I did so far is I cheated and I put down some yellow with cyan yellow. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to go over it again because I'm gonna hit this. Because of course I'm gonna hit this, but whatever, it is what it is. We're chilling, we're painting. And today we're going to do some Q&A. Now, I have been... I got sick a while ago, and for the last 3 weeks, I've had a runny nose. So, I might... If the audio cuts out, it's because I'm blowing my nose or something, because it's terrible. But we're going to do some Q&A while we do this. And I'm also going to be showing you guys my process for these. So, I did start painting some of the fairies. Like this here is one of the archers, mostly done, just to give myself an idea of where I'm going with it. So what we're going to do is we are going to start off, where are we going to start? I don't even know where we're going to start. Oh, well, let's finish the bee. Let's get some, this is all off the cuff. Let's get some, I'm looking for, what is it, dark, I'm looking for my black speed paint. I don't even know where you are. Let me move it's in that pile somewhere. There we go. Grim black. Oh, I'm going to have fun editing this. So, yep, Grim black. We're going to start with this. So, let's get to some questions. And I have kind of outlined some answers. I didn't really write a script for it, but just to... Oh, of course, it's empty. But just to keep myself from rambling... There we go. I thought I had... To keep myself from rambling for a half hour for each question, I kind of wrote down what I thought my answer was going to be. But it's not a script. Just key points to keep me on track. So, let's start off with the first question. Ooh, brand new. The changes in 3.2 that I like. Well, the way I do stuff is not like most other people do stuff. Like most other people, they pick an army and they stick with it, and that's their army. They know the rules in and out. But the way I do things here is I pick, we do a different army every week, sometimes 2 armies a week. So whenever I look at the rules for that army, the rules the day before could have been different, and I would have had no idea. The only reason I figured it out for the, the Shadow Stalkers, where it got changed, is because I just happened to see on Reddit that it popped up that it had changed. Otherwise, I would have never known. During my day job, it's not very inducive to sitting on a computer all day. But we'll more about that later. But I have looked over the changes. And the one change I do like is the regeneration change. Like the armies that depended on regeneration. Like the robot legions. And even the plague demons that I did the army of. Just because I've been to a few things where other people are playing OPR, just to go see what's going on in the community. And it seemed to me like there was an awful lot of robot legion players. Now, is that because you might hear some creaking too, because we are in the basement and there's other people walking around the house. So am I seeing a whole bunch of Robot Legion? I told you I was going to hit it. Am I seeing a whole bunch of Robot Legion players because a whole lot of people like Robot Legions? Or because it is a powerful army and everyone's looking for that edge to win? I don't know. I don't think like that. But it seemed to me that a lot of the people that tended to win stuff we're playing Robot Legions. And a little change to those seemed to be good. It's a chicken and the egg question. Do all the good people just like robots? Or do they play robots because that seems to be the best army? Who knows? The counter versus the impact hits, I like that change. Even though deep in my soul I am a cavalry guy, I do like the change. Ooh, I missed the support there. I don't know if you can see it on screen, but there's a little hair of a support. So while it does hurt when I get to the chivalrous kingdoms, I'm sure it'll be fine. But other than that, I mean, I haven't really dug too deep into it. Everyone's army's changed point-wise a little bit. So look at your lists. I did notice they said that they put a new balancing thing on the Army Forge. So I got in there and saw that everything I had posted counted as unbalanced. So I actually deleted my ancient machine guys before I realized that you just had to go in there and hit a button to calculate. So sorry if you guys are using it. It had 7 likes on the Army Forge. Some people might have been using it. Sorry. I'll put something back up there, or other people will put up different lists that are probably better than mine, so just go for that. So, yeah. That's my opinion on 3.2. There, that kind of looks like a bee. I'm gonna have to go in and clean up the yellow. I probably should have watered down the black a little more, but we'll roll with it for now. Let me connect those two right there. There we go. Okay. So yeah, you're probably gonna hear a TV in the background. People walking around upstairs, creaking on the floorboards. You know, it's a Wednesday night, and we got a house full of people here. What can I do against it? Which brings me to my next question. How many hours a week do you hobby? Somebody else had another question, or somebody else asked if I could just break down what my weekly schedule is. So I might as well. How many hours a week kind of varies, so let me break down a weekly schedule for you. Starting on Sunday nights, I make up the plates for the different units. Like the ones you see in the beginning of the How to Play series. I go through and... I broke a little tab off. I go through and I make every one of the army units their own... Make one of I make whatever army I'm working on. Every one of their units gets their own picture. And I gotta find a picture for it. And I gotta format it right and then get it ready for recording the audio. And to do that, I just email it to myself so that I have it just sitting on the internet that I can come to later. Oh, this is Fire Slayer's Flesh, the Citadel contrast color. I don't really know why I decided to make their skin a little darker, but I don't know, I thought it fit. And little tiny hairs are stuck everywhere. I'm sure there'll be more. So, with that done, I call it a night there. So, Monday, I go to work. I work a blue-collar type job. And it is 40 hours a week minimum. It's also an on-call job, so on a bad week, it could be like 60 or 80 hours on a real bad week. That's why if you look at my hands, the amount of scars that I have, it's just, metalworking. Working on stuff, beating things with hammers, trying to get it in shape. Sometimes they don't always agree. So on Mondays, I come home and I take whatever's come off the printer for the Army of the Week and start putting it together, and I just start putting it together. So, you know, the printing, assembling step, that's a couple hours. And then whatever kind of random things I got going on, I'll throw some time at that. Or if I'm working on like 2 battle reports a week, I'll do some editing on that video. I'll do some editing on the second video. And whenever... how do I explain this? Well, and then, you know, I come home, I do daddy stuff. And then the grot goes to bed at about 8 o'clock. And then Mrs. Warboss, she plays World of Warcraft and has her friends that she plays online games with. So she gets to go do that. And I come down here to the basement, chain myself to the painting table. And whatever I'm working on, I could be down here for like 2 to 5 hours, depending on how hard whatever I'm working on has grabbed me as my furnace turns on. So there's been nights where I've been down here, I come down at 8 o'clock and I look up and go, oh crap, it's 1 in the morning, I got work tomorrow. I think at the beginning, a big drive in the channel was that I was not sleeping at all. I would sleep maybe 4 or 5 hours a night. I don't know if it was stress induced. You know, it wouldn't be from... It was definitely work stress. It wasn't model stress. I do this to decompress at night. So there's 4 or 5 hours, 2 to 5 hours on Monday night, and then Tuesday, again, it's come down here, put together stuff, and then usually Tuesdays is when I am able to get together the full army, and it's time to prime them and dry brush them and get them ready for paint. Like everything else here, let me just turn my camera. Everything else for the army is just sitting there. This is some testing that I did. So everything else is sitting here. It's currently Wednesday night. I did all this last night in anticipation for painting the rest of the week. Ooh. Oh. So then Wednesday and Thursday nights usually the same. Come down here, chain myself to the table for 2 to 5 hours a night. And the real thing is, Friday nights is when I need to finish the army. So that could be... That's routinely, I'm down here till about 1 or 2 in the morning. But, hey, I ain't got work in the morning, what's the matter? So overall, just in painting time, between assembly, priming, dry brushing, and painting, we're looking at about between 10 and 20 hours during the week. Which sounds like a lot, but, you know, again, this is my hobby. This is my therapy. This is my way to de-stress. So, even though everyone's like, oh my god, you do so much, it's like, this is just how I work. I like to industrialize stuff. So then Saturday is game day. Game day usually starts 10 o'clock in the morning. It's where I take whatever I've been working on, take it out of the garage, set up, play the game, record the stuff. That usually takes, you know, between 2 to 3 hours, depending on how in-depth the game needs to get. What color's next? What color next? Well, I guess I can start on the greens. We're going to go for Militarum Green. I'm going to leave all my flubs in there. I'm going to leave all my flubs in the video so you get to hear how I actually talk. Not the post-processed editing that I do to everything. But yeah, so games are done in about 2 or 3 hours. I come right in, load everything onto the computer, and then start editing that part of the video. Oh, I completely skipped over the first half. Okay, so let's go back a little bit. Sorry, this is just how my brain works. On Wednesdays, usually, I stay after work, just, because it's quiet there. After everyone's gone, it is 100% quiet. And that's when I do the audio for the first half of the videos, the units. And then I come home, and that's usually a real simple edit. That's usually about, if it's a half hour, it's usually only an hour of editing for that. Just because I got to make sure everything fits in there. I've got that streamlined down to almost a science now. So about an hour there. And then I missed the top of her thigh. So on game day, after I play the game, I come in, load all the stuff in the computer, and then I start editing that video. That part of the video, that half, the game part. And whenever I edit those, everything gets 3 passes. 1 pass, put everything in, put all the photos in. I load all the audio. Then I sync up the audio to the pictures, change the lengths to what I want, and I leave holes for sound effects that I want to put in there. Second pass is the sound effect pass, where I put in all the splats, the sword banging, the slingshot sounds, the badger sniffing. And the third pass is where I put in the overlays, the blood splatters, the splat marks, the explosions. Okay, that's done. So we're going to do the banner green to start with too. I'll say it's on a twig, so we'll do that brown. And then after that's all set, I marry the 2 parts together, and then I put a background track on it. Which, I don't know if you've noticed, but I really like going to White Bat Audio, because they got a nice, he's got some nice synth music, and all of his stuff is royalty free. I usually just take whatever his newest playlist is and throw it on there, just because all of his stuff is good. Check him out, White Bat Audio. Put a link down in the description for you. He's going to be a background on this video too. And then I set it up to YouTube, do all the checks, set it to members only first. I always set things to members only first because I want to make sure there's no copyright strikes. And if I do it in members only, there's only a few of you guys. So your views, even though I love you, there's only going to be like 3 or 4 views in the beginning, and it'll ding off a copyright strike there, and then I can take it down, change stuff, so I can put it up for the general audience, and then have it set to release for everybody on Sunday mornings. I set it for Sunday morning at midnight. Well, it'll be Saturday night at midnight. Just because, I don't know why just because, but that's just the way it works for me. That way the guys on the West Coast, it's at 8 o'clock in the morning, or 8 o'clock at night. It just works for me, because usually by the time I'm done, it's like 10 o'clock anyways. And then whenever I post the video, if we had a poll going, I see what army is winning that poll, and I start making putting the STL I start putting the STL files in the slicer to get them ready for that. We're kind of on a 2-week turnaround with armies right now. So, ooh, it just got quiet, and you guys can actually hear the printer going. That's for the next army after these, which is going to be catfolk. Again, my brain's going all over everywhere. But Good Enough Gaming just did a video on the catfolk, and the same creator reached out to me to do a review of the army. And so I'm actually printing them all and painting them, and I'm going to do one of my Army-style battle reports for the Army list that he gave me to play with him. So that'll be fun. So that leaves us with Sunday. Sunday's the only thing I have to do is get those plates made. I call them plates. The pictures for the unit section of the next army. That's all I really have to do on Sundays. I might finish up some extra painting, work on some terrain, some other oddball stuff here and there. So overall, the whole thing, I want to say I put about 35 hours a week into this. Now that I say it out loud, that sounds crazy. It's like a second job, but it's not. It's not like I lock myself in a room and lock everyone out and say I'm recording, leave me alone. I'm editing, go away. No, I can't do that. I'm a dad first, so I realize I'm drifting again. I'm a dad first, so the whole time I'm working on everything. I gotta put stuff down. I gotta go do dad stuff. So, out of that 35 hours, it's 30, we'll call it 35 interrupted hours. Which, again, sounds bad, but it's not. I love it. Oh, yeah, I gotta change that yellow. It looks weird. We'll worry about the base at the end. So yeah, that's it for that question. Next question. Do a video on how to put together and editing a bat rep. Sure. It sounds like fun. I'll do a little behind the scenes video for you guys. Oh, those are leaves too. I'll get back to that later. I'll do like a behind the scenes how-to video. Show you guys how I do it. You all can see just how low tech I am around here. You guys can see just how low tech I am around here. Alright, next color. I want to do brown for his eyes. Because, just more black would just make that look weird. Let's do, let's do a metallic. Let's do, maybe darker. Is this darker? Not really. Yeah, alright, that looks like the darkest copper I got, or the darkest metallic I have laying around. So we're going to do his eyes, brazen copper. Shake the hell out of your speed paints. I see it right there. It's all humped in the corner. I'm going to put up a montage of paint shaking. Okay, good enough. So, our next question. Do you ever get... Ooh, that is dark. Do you ever get hobby burnout? Well, the short answer is yes. Yes, everyone gets hobby burnout from time to time. Okay, that does look cool. Everyone gets hobby burnout from time to time, and that's okay. But you know how people say the best way to finish an army, or the best way, ooh, look at that. Ooh, that looks cool. The best way to finish an army is, schedule an event like a tournament that you're going to go to. Well, that's kind of what making these videos feels like to me. Like every week, I got an event that I got to finish for. I got to finish up the army to get it ready for the event. So, yeah, I do get hobby burnout, but I just get my mentality going of the thing's got to get done. Go do the thing. You're going to feel better when you get the thing done. If you don't get the thing done, you're going to feel like crap. And I just have to tell myself that every week. It's been working out well so far. Alright, what we're going to do next? That's almost everything up there. Okay, the saddle's kind of a leaf too. We're going to make that a brown leaf. We're going to say it's like a leathery leaf for the saddle. And a little thing there. That's part of the stick. All right, let's do the stick. Let's do some woodwork on here. And for that, we're going to use dark wood speed paint. The next question. When will the Discord be open? Oh, I'm dripping everywhere. Well, good news. Again, short answer, today. When this video goes live, I will have launched the Discord. The link will be down in the bottom. It's been set up for a while. I was just afraid to pull the trigger because I'm an old man. I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like, Facebook came out and I was already out of college. Yes, children, I remember a time before the internet. So yeah, the Discord's set up. Doesn't have much on it now, but just come on by and I'll talk with you. We can all show off our cool stuff together, and that's where I'm going to be setting up things for the campaign, where you guys can put stuff, where you guys can affect the campaign, and that's where I'm going to put the missions and things that I'll release for you guys to do. And there's a second part to this question I'm going to get to once I do these sticks. I can't see it that way. All right. I'm going to say, yes, this is a twig. Nothing scarier than a fairy with a twig. Rawr. Alright. So the next question. When is the campaign starting? And for this, I'm going to have to take the camera off of the stand and show you guys. So, I put it on the community post, as you all get to see my setup, my zip-tied camera. This is the campaign map as it sits right now. I am currently working on that, and we're going to have our settlements, our big city settlements where the stars are, and all the little camps where the X's are. We've got a river going through with mountains, and I've written the rules for how to move around the campaign map, how the army is going to be built, what happens when you take a city or a village, and also I have a big old box of 15mm stuff ready to go. Ta-da! That we're going to be painting up. This should really go quick. So, the answer for when it's a campaign starting? Soon-ish. We're going to get there soon. Alright, let's do the hair on these girls now. For the hair, for them, I'm doing Griff Hound Orange. Because my speed paint orange is way too orange. And I got to straighten the camera out again. Burp. Burp. Oh, it's my thing that was crooked. Whatever. So, next question. It's more like a demand. Show the process for painting smaller scale minis. Well, they're coming. So, expect another one of these painting videos with the 15mm scale stuff. I even got some 6mm stuff I could throw in there. Some things that kind of fell through the cracks when I made the rest of the armies for 6mm. So, I'll just throw those in there too. My whole process of just, I don't know, yeah, this is, what I do is like slap chop in its purest form. So doing that on the 6, 10, and 15mm stuff, oh man, it goes fast. There we go. Redhead fairy. I got ginger fairies. Alright. And then we'll pull out something. Let's do the hardened leather. Very dead leaf color. We're going to need a tiny brush. Tiny brush to get in there. Tiny brush. No, not you. Tiny brush. It's still pretty big. It's still a pretty big brush to most people. To me, it's a tiny brush. So, next question. What does a squig smell like? What does a squig smell like? You ever buy like a 5-pound bag of potatoes and you forget about them? And then like 6 months later you find them and they've grown fingers and it's reaching up the wall trying to find dirt. And you give it a sniff. That's what I imagine a squig smells like. A rotten potato. So, do with that what you will. Okay. All right, what next? We're gonna do some more. We're gonna do some more green stuff. Yeah, the stuff left over. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna change it up. We're gonna go to different green. We're gonna go to Creed Camo for some more green. Let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. Boop. So as my furnace kicks back on, it's still cold here up in the Midwest. Oh, you see, I did hit the top of that thigh. It's just sometimes I found with contrast paints, if you're real thin, you put it on there and you just don't notice it until, you know, give it a few minutes and it'll like solidify the color. That or I'm talking out of my ass. I don't know. I found that, you know, whenever I get a model done, I look at it like the night I get it done, I go, yeah, I don't know. And then, focus. Then like the next day I'll look at it and be like, oh, that looks a whole lot better than I remember it did. So, a little weird phenomena I found using speed paints and contrasts. Sometimes you gotta let it sit, let it work its magic. Like this here, I know in my head that's gonna turn a whole lot darker. Right, let's work on some. Well, let's do a little thing around her stick at the top with this. Boop. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop. Another weird trick I found too with contrast paints and even speed paints is if you put a color down, like I put this brown down before, and if I hit it with the green, like if I'm doing this and I go into it a little bit with the green, it'll kind of recede back. Ooh, maybe I should zoom out. It'll kind of recede back into the more, into the more porous section that just has the primer and the dry brush on it. Maybe the contrast paint seals it a little bit. So you can be a little bit messier with speed paints and contrasts. Is that scientific fact? No, not at all. This is just the observations of a smooth-brained orc. So let's go to the next one. Where'd it go? Where'd my papers go? Oh, there it is. Request to make an army. Archvillain Games Path to Demon Japanese only based. Yes. If you guys have something you want me to do, just go ahead and drop a thing down in the comments, or send me a message on Discord. I'll take a look at it. I did look at those. It was pretty cool. So somewhere down the line, I'm gonna get a hold of those files and make some of those, and we'll see what we can do for an army. Now the next question what got you into wargaming? Funny story. I can lay this all at the feet of one of my friends in high school. And well, I'll use his Instagram handle. My friend in high school, Kirk Millennium. I was going to like for high school, I went to a art style high school where you had to, audition to get in there. You had to bring your portfolio of angsty teenage stuff for them to look at, and then if they thought you were, you had potential as an artist, you were admitted to the Center of the Arts. Hair. So I put my stuff in. I don't even know why my parents decided to put me in there, because they saw me. They saw I like to draw stuff. I like to paint stuff as a kid. Like, I lived honestly an hour away from that school, and back in the 90s, that was a long freaking way to go to school. But regardless, I ended up there. And we were at some kind of a class assembly. I remember this vividly. Some weird assembly thing where they had everybody there and we're all sitting in the auditorium. And I look over and he's sketching out on his pad of paper a Space Marine helmet. And me, being a little artsy teenager, said, "Hey, that looks really cool. What is it?" Oh Lord, little do I know, here 25 years later, I'm still playing miniatures games. So yeah, I lay my entire hobby career firmly at my friend's feet. Because before that, I wasn't really into nerdy stuff back then. Most kids, there was comic books. There was comic books. Most kids were, like, oh, Marvel, oh, DC. Well, I did have a few comic books. I was a Dark Horse Comics kind of guy. I never really got into, like, Captain America or Superman or the Avengers or anything like that. I was into Spawn. I was into Alien versus Predator. That sort of thing. The comic books where everybody at the end, there's no happy ending. Everyone at the end is dead. So 40K, being the dystopian nightmare that it was back then, was perfect for me. So here, let me just launch into the whole history of this. So, me, my friend Kirk Millennium, and then another friend of mine from high school, you guys will know him as Orc Butt. We were all in high school together. We all started to buy minis. The only way that we could get them at the time was, we had to mail order them. And, the internet in the 90s when it first started up and you were trying to order stuff off the internet was ridiculous. It'd take forever to get there. There was no Amazon yet. So, building an army took forever. But after a little while, Orcbutt found a store. And I'll go ahead and shout out the store because, it's not around anymore, but it was a place called Omniverse Hobbies down in Fort Myers, Florida, which, that's where I come from. And I remember the first time I walked in there, it was a den of scum and villainy in the best way possible. It was full of a bunch of older guys. Wargaming back then, you had guys that were in their 30s or 40s or 50s playing. We started off on I think it was still 2nd edition back then. Yeah, so we started off with that, and then there was a bunch of us that decided to start playing 40K. Oh, I missed the support. Where are you? There's a bunch of us that started playing 40K back then. But after a while, after the herd slimmed out, you know, guys discovered girls. They thought being nerdy wasn't cool. You know, it got down to 3 or 4 of us. And I don't know the other guy's handles online. I don't want to be like, yes, his name is this. So, blah. I'll leave them out of the story for now. But, yeah, so after the herd thinned out and after everyone realized, like, hey, these kids are going to stick around for a while, they kind of took us under their wing. We all played freaking everything back then. Back then, 40K and Games Workshop in general, they were not the juggernaut that they are now. You know, I think someone asked, there's a question of what game systems have you played? Well, let's see. Obviously, 40K, Fantasy. We played Mordheim, Flames of War, Wooden Ships and Iron Men, Napoleonics, old Avalon Hill chit-based games. I remember one game we had took the entire back room. It was the entire Eastern Front of World War II. It would take us, 3 months to play the game just to re-rack and start over. We played Sea Krieg, played some D&D. We played BattleTech. All kinds of stuff. It was. Some people would just make up games and be like, "Hey, I want to try this," and we'd play them and we'd give feedback. And some people went on to develop those games, all of which now are defunct. Because just the way the world works now, a lot of that stuff isn't around anymore. But yeah, like we even played 54mm Inquisitor. We played campaigns. We had narrative games. We had Rogue Trader tournaments. I think it was every month we had a Rogue Trader tournament. We even had a Games Workshop Outrider that would come to the store, who was one of the regulars. That whole group of guys, they taught me how to be a wargamer. They taught me how to have fun. There was no meta lists. There was no internet, net listing. Hell, you didn't even get an update to your army but once every 2 editions. I remember 3rd edition felt like it lasted 15 years. I don't know what the actual number was, but man, I'll tell you what, we played a whole lot of 3rd edition 40K. But then, inevitably we got older and moved on. Like, I ended up going to college to play some football. Oh, that was a thing too. Man, when those guys found out I was getting scouted by colleges, they're trying to get me to... They're trying to choose my college for me. Like, they wanted me to go to Tennessee and Florida and Florida State just because they're all trying to bet on me. Oh, it was great. It was like an extended family. So I went off to college, did my thing. That's the funny thing too, is I do not have a college degree. I went to college, played football in college, and once my eligibility was up, I was like, you know what, guys? I'm out. See ya. I went and worked in the trades, and now, I'm doing all right. Not, not FU money, but, pretty good. But, yeah, that's not the point. So, after college, I came back to Fort Myers, and Omniverse had moved to a different location. And when I Went back to it, it was all the same guys. We picked up like right where we left off, playing all kinds of stuff. I remember having a conversation with a friend of mine. The store had closed and we were out in the parking lot trying to figure out how to kill tiger tanks in Flames of War. Because he was playing Americans and I was playing the Russians. And all the tiger tanks were giving us problems. So we were out there till 2 o'clock in the morning writing out strategies and battle plans in the dew on the hood of our trucks. It was an amazing time. And then again, inevitably, I moved away again. You know, found an opportunity somewhere else. Moved to a different part of the country. Well, I heard eventually that the store, that Omniverse hobby shut down. Which, you know, I can't fault the guy who was running it. John, he's a great guy. He ran it for like 20 years. And 20 years at a game store as a single owner operator, that is a great run. You know, he'd been in the, he was a Vietnam vet. I want to say he's a Vietnam vet. I always thought he was. He might not have been. I know he's in the Army. Either way. But yeah, he was getting up there. He just wanted to retire. No one decided to get the shop off of him, so it just closed. There are other stores that opened up. Over time down there. You know, I'd go back to visit. And eventually, again, I did move back. Because something about Florida, it always keeps pulling you back. So I did go back, and the new stores that were around, they just didn't have the same soul that Omniverse had. Oh, that's the wrong color. So for the claws of the bees and a couple little things, we're going to use skeleton horde. Boop, skeleton horde. Then again, I broke the tab. And then once again, I moved across the country, and, you know, here I am, now up in Michigan. And I think, you know, I've put down roots here. I got kids now. I ain't going nowhere. This is where I'm going to be. But, you know, when I started, you know, something's been happening lately. Like when I started gaming, I was what, 13? 25 years ago, I'm going to be 39 this year. And all the guys I played back then were like in their 30s and 40s, so you know, every once in a while I'll get a message that, hey, so-and-so's not around anymore, they're gone. You know, and every time I get that message, it hurts. Even though I haven't seen those guys in years. I still feel like I lost a friend. So that's kind of what inspired me to start the channel. One of the things. You know, if someone's coming up, there's a longer story to what inspired me to do the channel, but the big thing is, you know, when I was coming up in the hobby, I had like hobby heroes, hobby titans I looked up to. And all the stores and stuff I've gone to lately, I just don't see that anymore. There'll be guys running like 40K tournaments. But there's no one like, hey, everybody check this out. This is cool. And everyone jumps in on it. You know, we built a hell of a community down there. Get Magic Blue, I'm going to water the crap out of this through the wings. You know, we built a community around the store. Everybody kind of helped each other out with all the things. If you needed help, someone will be there to help you out. You lose your job, there'll be 3 or 4 guys being like, hey, Come where I work. I'll get you a job. You got to move. You'll have 4 or 5 guys with trucks that'll show up and help you. Oh, that's one of the things that keeps me going. When I started, I had a hobby heroes. And I'm up here kind of on my own. Game stores are kind of far away for me to even try to get to. You know, kind of fell out of love with 40K in general, and it just doesn't hit the same as it used to. Call me old grognard or whatever, but it just doesn't feel the same. So something that keeps me going is I want to be a hobby hero for other people. I want to be able to show off, hey, this is this cool thing I'm working on. What do you think about it? Maybe I can inspire you to go push yourself to do something. This is getting awful heavy for a dude that's just painting. It's getting awful heavy for a guy painting a bumblebee. But, yeah. So if you're out there and you don't have a hobby hero in your life, I want to be that guy. I want to pay it forward. All right, that's enough of that. On to the next question. Who inspired you is the next question. Okay, so I'll get to, you know, other than the stuff I just went through, I'll talk to you about who actually inspired the opening of the channel. So, let's see. Like right as a hobby, right as the idea that I was kicking around that I want to do a channel. We're not looking too bad so far. I want to say I was listening to Northern Exile. If you guys haven't heard him, he's great. Look up Northern Exile on YouTube. He focuses on hobby nightmares. He has some inspiring stories. You know, he talks an awful lot about men's health. Great guy. Go listen to him. He puts out way more content than I do. Yeah, I was listening to one of his episodes, and he was like, well, just if you got an idea, just do it. What's the worst that could happen? So, hey, that was one notch in my thinking. Yellow for those. Yeah, yellow for those. Well, let me do the rock first. It's lower. So, yeah, there was that. And then my friend Orkbutt, who I talked about, who he ended up going off and doing big things in the art world. I don't know if he really wants that story getting out there, like what he used to do. So I'm not gonna throw it out there what he did. But he was done with that job, and he was moving back to the East Coast, and he just messaged me on Facebook. So we got to talking. Then we roped in our friend Kirk Millennium. We were showing off stuff we were working on. And I brought up the idea, hey, I think I might want to start a YouTube channel. And he did the full-on meme, do it! Just do it! So, yeah, okay, fine. Jesus Christ. He browbeat me into making a YouTube channel. So, yeah. So that's how it started. And in the early days of this channel, the first couple episodes, man, I didn't know what I was doing at all. I knew I had cool stories I wanted to tell. But like, I didn't know how to do any video editing. I didn't know how to do camera work. Nothing. So I think I might have actually privated the first 3 videos of the channel. If I did, I'm going to unprivate them. So if you guys really want to go see the absolute beginning of the channel, oh my god, those videos are ridiculous. Go watch them for how bad it is. I mean, they're not terrible. Okay, I'm making it sound like, I was up there farting on screen. I mean, they weren't terrible, but they're definitely nothing like they are now. So over time, I taught myself how to do video editing. Barely to what you guys see now. Everything I use is free. When I do the behind-the-scenes stuff, I'll show you guys what I use. Everything I use is free. The only thing I pay for is the AI voice stuff. Even that, I don't even really use that much anymore. But I might for the campaign. I gotta have different characters talking, and as much as I've tried to change my voice through things, oh man, it don't work. Yeah, it could be gray as well. So yeah, I started the YouTube channel. He started off his Patreon, which is amazing. He focuses so much on high-end things. He's like the exact opposite of me. He will spend like 3 months on one model. He's going for Golden Demon at Adepticon this year. So if you see Orcbot, tell him that Warboss Fit says hi at Adepticon. So, yeah, and then our friend Crooked Millennium, we've been pressuring him to go do stuff too, but he just had a kid, his first kid, and he's still in the I'm a new dad panic mode right now. We're gonna cut him some slack, but he's doing a lot of stuff with AI art, and working with I think he's working with a band called the Proto Men, which is very Mega Man themed. I mean, I've listened to some of their stuff. Some of their stuff's really cool, but it's I'm not a music guy. I can't tell you who sings what. I just know there's some songs that I like. So yeah, those guys are what inspired me to actually fire off the YouTube channel. Then over time, through talking with people on Reddit and talking to people on YouTube through comments, it's kind of turned into what it is now. I think the whole How to Play series started out because somebody on Reddit said, "Why is there nobody doing this for OPR?" And I said, "You know what? Fine. I'll do it. I'll give it a shot." And it's been kind of successful so far, I think. Hope you guys agree with me. Okay, yellow flowers. So yeah, I come at OPR as a more... I don't know, I used to... Again, more stuff about me in the beginning of my... Well, okay, let's go to the next question. What is your most memorable hobby moment? And for that, I will definitely say it was my first win. Now, most people will be like, "Oh, well, of course everyone remembered, blah, blah, blah." Listen, I have played... Okay, let's see. In the beginning, I started off with Space Marines, like everybody else started off with back in the 90s. I played Dark Angels. Everybody else had their different flavor of Marine. Kirk Millennium played the Ultramarines. Orcbutt played Blood Angels. I chose Dark Angels because I like green. At least I did back then. Back then we had 20 chapters to choose from. That was it. Again, there's no internet. I couldn't look up cool stuff. So I built those Dark Angels, and I was terrible at 40k. Well, let's see, I don't know if I was terrible at 40k. Everyone else was great at 40k. I'll say that. Everyone else is a lot better than me, which is funny because there have been people out of that group that I started playing with that have gone on to win the Las Vegas Open. So Oh yeah, I'll say that. They were a whole lot better than me, and I was just an average gamer. So I played through the Dark Angels, and other than like some little meaningless stuff like, 300-point skirmish games, I did not win a single game at all with those Dark Angels. That was about, I stuck with those for like a year and a half. I built the army, I painted them. I got so upset with them that they weren't winning. I even painted them black and took the Dark Angels, sword, and I put bat wings on it and said, we're fallen angels now. I'm playing chaos, and I still lost. I still lost with those. So I switched over. I decided, okay, maybe it's just Space Marines. Not good with that. So I switched over to Imperial Guard. What color? Red. I got a lot of red and everything else. Let's do some red. There we go. Just blend Angels red. So I switched over to Imperial Guard. It went again about another 6 months before finally, I remember the game. I was playing against the Outrider John, and he was playing a flavor of chaos. I don't know. He had like chaos everything, so I'm not sure which chaos it was, but it was a King of the Hill style game. And at the end of the game, the objective was for him to kill off all of my guardsmen, holding an objective in the middle. I had one commissar left who was in close combat with one wound left, holding on to that flagpole for dear life. The game was over. I shook his hand, and then he looked at me and he was like, "You won." I didn't even believe him. I was like, what the hell you say? He had to tell me like 3 times, no, Fitz, you won. I was so happy. I did a victory lap around the store. My first actual 40K win, and it was against the Outrider. Oh, I thought that was so great. He might have let me win. Actually, looking back, I'm pretty sure he did let me win, but I don't care. It was great. But I'll tell you what, though, a little deepness in this. I think, over my wargaming career, I have played probably thousands of games. Thousands. And I have lost a lot more than I've won. And I think, you know what? That made me a better wargamer for it. Have I been out of focus this whole time? Yep. Okay, you guys, you're here for the Q&A. You're not here for the painting. I think that's made me a better wargamer because it made me a good loser. Oh, hey, nothing. It taught me that, this is just a game of toy soldiers. You don't need to, there's no meta. I mean, you could follow the meta if you want. You could be all the way up to date on everything. You could be one of those people that just saw, I'm still on some 40K groups. The data slate just dropped, and I have a huge AdMech army. And let me tell you, the AdMech subreddit right now is in meltdown mode. I don't blame them, because, the rules are crap. But, guys, it's a game of toy soldiers. You're supposed to be doing this to have fun. That could be most of the reason why I actually, in the games I do now, I take the dice out of it, because I would have people on videos where I was showing dice rolls be like, "Oh my god, he only hit 4 times instead of 6, blah," and I'd go back and be like, "Yeah, I flubbed it, but did it make that big of a difference? Really?" Yeah, I took the dice rolls out because this is OPR is supposed to be a fun narrative type game. You could be as competitive as you want with it, but I don't want to be competitive with it. I was competitive for years. All it got me was more, 3 a.m. 3 a.m. painting the new unit that I just bought and then going to a tournament just dead tired and losing anyways. That's just what I want from this hobby. Is I want to teach you guys, again, it's part of paying it forward from the other wargamers I used to play with. You know, just, you're doing this to have fun. Winning is not the point. You're here to tell a story. You're here to have fun with your friends. So later on, you can be like, hey, remember that time your dude did this thing and it was crazy? They're like, oh yeah, man, that was great. That's what it's about. Like if I asked you right now, without Googling, who won the LVO 4 years ago? You have any idea? Who won the London GT 3 years ago? Well, they might not have had it because of COVID, but who won it back in 2019? I went to Feast of Blades, I think it was 2013. I went to Colorado, and I ended up coming in like 13th. But I did not have any fun because it was just so competitive. Remember when they had the Ard Boys tournaments where you would play 2,500 point games? I was playing and I qualified to go to the next round, and I went to Miami to play in the second round of that tournament. And I think I was playing Dark Elder at the time. I don't remember. But I lined up against a guy at the table next to me. The guy was playing the, what do they call it? The stand-in. The we have an odd number. The kicker game. The bye. Oh, yeah, he got a bye. So he was just playing a guy who happened to have an army there, so he wouldn't be wasting, 3 hours. And he started throwing a fit. He's like, these rhinos aren't WYSIWYG. I don't see a hunter-killer missile on every one of them. It's like, dude, come on. Come on. You're missing the point. Yeah, well. Oh, man, we're at an hour and 15 minutes now. I'm just painting one model. Good Lord. Well, I'm talking to a camera. But yeah, that's just the point of wargaming is to have fun. Damn it, have fun. I feel like sometimes I want to throttle people. Like, this is supposed to be fun. Stop losing your mind. What else do I got? I got this thingy. And I got the ground. Let's do the ground. And, here. I'm going to steal it from the grot. Hold on. He's got his own paint set over there. There we go. I stole his Kelly Green. Ta-da. What I'm going to do with these, I'm going to put this paint on the base here, and then I'm going to use the old school... I'm going to use old school flock to put, like, grass ground cover on there. So this, I'll put this down as a base coat. So even if some of the flock does come off, it'll still be green underneath. So yeah, where was I in the middle of that rant? So yeah, I'm here to make OPR, to tell stories. Well, I'm here to tell stories with OPR. So, I'm here to tell stories with OPR and let everyone know that winning is not the end-all, be-all of wargaming. So, we got a little bit more time. Let's see. What's the next question? This will probably be the last question. Let's end on something happy. So let's do a couple of lighthearted ones here. To finish up on. Favorite OPR game? Now, I don't know if they mean like favorite system, like if it's going to be Grimdark Future or like Age of Fantasy, because honestly, in my mind, the rules are interchangeable. They're the same game. You can run one with the other. Actually, it's really fun. If you get on that, the win doesn't matter. It's fun to throw Age of Fantasy army at a Grimdark Future army, just to see what'll happen. It's OPR. The games only take like 2 hours, max. Oh, got a little red in there. But if you're talking like my favorite like game, like favorite game I've played of OPR stuff, I got a friend who's in the comment section probably. It's hi. I won't shout you out in case you want to remain anonymous. But he watches the videos. He's subscribed. But it was up here in Michigan, and we played a game. It was before the channel. It was kind of like as we both started really getting into OPR stuff. It was like 8,000 points of his the Knight Brothers against my Orc Marauders. And what we did is we added in a exploding vehicle rule, that when the vehicle died, you roll the dice, and out of 6, it exploded 2d6 inches, and everybody took the number of hits as the tough of the vehicle. So like a truck with 6 wounds, with 6 toughness, if it exploded 2d6 inches out, everything that got hit took 6 hits. So we're coming down to the wire. I'm kicking his butt. He's running out of Knight Brothers to throw at me. And I got nothing but orcs from horizon to horizon. Well, we get towards the center. That worked? No. Let's make this orange. The orcs and the trucks and the vehicles. I even had like a Stompa on the board. We called it. I made rules for it because it was huge. It's Stacy the Stompa who's on the shorts. It's got a couple of views. But I did that, and I'm like, I don't like shorts, but it's there in case you want to see who Stacy is. So they're rolling up to the middle of the board, and he shoots one of the trucks and kills it. I roll a dice, comes up a 6. Oh no! Boom. What that started was the most hilarious cascade failure I have ever seen. That truck exploded. Killed all the orcs around it. Touched another truck. That truck exploded. Went out, blew up around it. Killed all the orcs around it. Touched another truck. That truck exploded. What had started in the middle of the board was probably 7 vehicles and about 50 different orc bodies, all within 12 inches of the middle of the board, turned into the only orc vehicle that I had left was the Stompa, who's 24 inches that direction. Everything else had exploded on itself. We were laughing so hard, I think I was rolling some of the dice on the floor because I couldn't get up. It was the most hilarious turnaround I've ever seen in a game. And that just goes to show you, Oh, I gotta do that yellow. That just goes to show you that the winning didn't matter. If I'd have won that game, it'd have been like, oh, hey, cool, I won. Moving on. No. What I'm left with is the most hilarious cascade failure of a loss I've ever seen in my life. And that's how the story of the orc character I run, Amorkin Joe, that's how the story of he always snatches failure out of the claws of victory started. So it's moments like that that I'm trying to get to in this game. But, the world being what it is, and the way everyone is super competitive about stuff. I told that story. I told the story on Reddit about that thing, and I think the only comment was, wow, that exploding skill seems very powerful. How many points did you pay for it? It's like they couldn't get it around their head that, no, we just made it up. We just thought it was going to be cool. So, we're going to do his stick Creed camo, because it's camo, right? No one will see it. It's camouflage. Look, it turned invisible. But yeah, it's stuff like that I'm looking for in OPR. The winning doesn't matter. It's the journey. It's the fun and the friends you make along the way. That's how all wargaming is to me, really. Kind of like, people used to think I was crazy when we played Flames of War. I would play the Russians, and I would routinely charge my horse cavalry into like American Stuart tanks. Did they win? Oh God, never. Was it fun? Yes. Because you know why? We're playing on a Saturday, a random Saturday. Who cares if we win? So, guys, we're going to call it there. I'm debating on whether I'm going to use, I'm going to use washes. I'm just debating on which ones I'm going to use. How close can I get this here? Here we go. So that's what we got so far. And you're going to be able to see these. You're going to be able to see these, this unit and the rest of the fairies in the next battle report, the next faction focus. It will be the fairies against the halflings. Yeah, it kind of blends with everything else. Oh, my zip tie is going. Get up there. Kind of blends with everything else. As you guys can tell, I am very professional. Production value is extremely high. Loosen that. Here we go. Level. There we go. And, yeah. The main thing is I do this for fun. I do this as a hobby. Just to show you guys the fun of wargaming. And so yeah, the Discord's going to be opened up. I'm going to put that link in the description. Yep. I'm going to put this video up as soon as it gets done editing, which I think I'll go jump on the table now and do some editing. It'll go out to members only first, and then this is going to be scheduled to go out on Saturday for everybody else. Yeah, so drop a comment, ask some more questions, and I still got some more questions left over from last time. Look, I got a whole stack of stuff here. But yeah, we could do more of this. It was fun. So remember to like, subscribe, blah blah blah. Yeah. Leave a comment, tell me what's up. Until next time, we'll see you later.